You know, it's a shame there's no such thing as smell-o-vision or smell tube, because I wish everybody could smell how good these fresh cut tomatoes right here smell. And
this is heaven right here, as close as we can get to it on this earth. Yeah.
And we got 8 different varieties here, and we're going, in a little bit, we're going to do us, if you can control yourself, we're going to do us a little taste test and compare all 8 of these, you know, bigger tomato varieties here. And
it's been a pretty good tomato year. Not the best, but pretty good.
It's been pretty good. These last few weeks have been rough. I have actually started pulling up some of mine.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain the last few days, and rain is not good for watermelons and tomatoes. Cantaloupes, things like that, they just blow up. It is what it is. We make the best out of it, but it's not bad. I've eaten a lot of tomato sandwiches, and I got a few more to go this year.
Yeah, my problem was I got tired of picking them. I couldn't give them away. We done put up close to 100 jars, it seems. I meant to bring, we made some homemade pasta sauce. I meant to bring some. I have to bring it on next week's show and let you try it, but it is absolutely delicious.
Well, you know, we've mentioned this before, and we'll mention it again. I think the majority of the population out there are missing out on some of the finer things in life is homegrown tomatoes. I'm constantly amazed at how many people do not know what we got here, have never enjoyed or partaked in something.
Yeah, and a lot of people that watch this show are appreciative of it, but compared to the general population, they're not. And like I've said before, in our weekly vegetable bags, these things aren't, we put them in there, people like them, but it's not like when we have fresh tomatoes, people are chomping at the bit to get a bag. It's not a mover. It's not a draw like, say, for instance, corn or even broccoli or some other Brussels sprouts are. And I think that's just because a lot of people didn't grow up eating homegrown tomatoes and don't understand the huge difference between this and what you can get at the grocery store.
And you go to the grocery store and buy you one of them that's been green and gassed and ripe and hauled around all over the country and played around like a basketball, sit there for months on the shelf. Compare to that one of these you go out there and pick vine ripe. What you talking about?
Yeah, so I got tired of picking mine. You about can't. The only way you can give them away is if you pick them for somebody. You sure enough can't hardly get somebody to come out there and pick them.
I'm a little weird about that. I don't really like nobody picking my tomatoes.
Yeah.
And tomatoes, I don't mind picking. Matter of fact, I'm having the same problem with my okra that you're having with your tomatoes. We got okra galore, cutting it every other day, making plenty of crop, very productive, and I just can't give it away. You know, I go out there and cut it, and I ask people if they want it. Some people want it after they cut it. I don't want nobody else cutting my okra. I like to do it myself because I like it done a certain way. But when you get it cut and you call and say, well, you want smoke it? Well, I may come by there and get it. They may and may not. But it's what it is. What it is.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons we started our vegetable bag thing. Surprisingly, it's easier to get rid of extra produce if you sell it than if you try to give it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
How strange that is.
Well, it's the same adage. You remember the fellow that put the old couch out there next to the road and said, free couch for pickup. Nobody stopped and get it. And he put out there $10 for a couch, and they lined up to get it. You know, they was getting a bargain then.
Right, yep. There's something wrong with it if it was free. But yeah, we've had a lot of rain. It's been causing some issues. I haven't been able to get out in the garden much lately. A little bit in the afternoons if it's not raining. It's kind of disrupted my spraying schedule. My plan recently has been to, I've been trying to at least every afternoon I can get out there and take out one row of tomatoes. Yeah, they're still producing, but some of the plants are starting to look rough. And we have had all the tomatoes I need to have. I did leave my row of Bella Rosas there. They were probably the better looking ones at this point in the season. I left those there, you know, so I can have a few more tomato sandwiches. But I'm slowly getting them out of there. You know, you get to the point where you just get tired of something, and it's hard to say you get tired of these because they're so good, but you just had enough, and things start looking rough with all this rain. You just want to get it cleaned up. You want to turn it over, put your cover crop there, some flowers there, and just kind of feel refreshed and renewed about a plot.
Yep.
So that's what I've been going on. With this rain and my inability to spray on my squash, I've been dealing with some pickle worms. They have kind of exploded on me. They seem I've got a row of zucchini, yellow squash, and 8-ball squash. For whatever reason, I seem to be targeting the zucchini more than the slick pick there. But I'm dealing with some pickle worm pressure. I was able to spray last night, but working through that. And it's just one of those things. Those canary melons I planted, they look okay. We'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm transitioning right now. I had this conversation earlier today with someone. It's that time of the year where I transition into cover crops and flowers, and I just rest a little bit.
Yeah.
I get to take me a break, give the garden a break a little bit, and then, it'll be time to kick back up in a little bit. But right now, it's just time for flowers and cover crops. For me, for the most part. Now, I still got okra, and I'll continue to have okra for a while. But my flowers are one of the main things I enjoy during the hot middle of the summertime.
Yeah. We all go pretty hard in May and June, and you do get a little wore out, and you need a little bit of break, and that's what's. But you don't want to let them plots grow up. So,
Nope.
so we'll, put something in there that doesn't require as much maintenance, as much daily harvesting, and all that's good stuff. One of the things that I have that's still doing really well is my eggplant. I have some of the best looking eggplant plants I believe I've ever grown. And we've been looking and finding different ways to cook them. And I posted this a week or so ago on our row by row group. We've been frying eggplant fries. You cut them up just like you would cut up French fries of a tater, and batter them up. And I'm telling you what, that is some fine stuff.
Fry them hard, eh?
Yeah. Really, really good. And they don't take but just a minute or two in that old Cajun fryer. You can get them nice and crispy.
I've been eating a few figs.
You've been eating a few figs?
Yeah, a few figs.
Yeah. I got something for you after we do this taste test here to kind of cleanse your palate. We've been picking a lot of figs, putting up a lot of figs. In past years, we have put figs in our vegetable bags. But this year we decided not to do that. We had so much other produce, we didn't need the figs for that. We said we're going to keep the figs to ourselves and the birds this year.
Well, I've been eating, my first ones, believe it or not, come in, I don't know the particular variety, but it's a honey fig, which is an unusual fig for me because I have only one honey fig. But it's a honey profile, and I say honey fig, the flavor profile of the fig is characterized as honey.
It's kind of a light yellow inside.
Yeah, I'm telling you, really good. Really good. Man, I've enjoyed them.
That's one thing that interests me about all these fig varieties is the different flavor profiles there.
So I even make it's a ritual for me. So I go pick them. I watch them every day till they get just right. So I know where every one of them's at. And I go by there and I look at them and I talk to them. And when
You
they
do
get
your eyes like that when you talk
I
to
do
them?
my eyes like that when I talk to them. And then I pick them and I carry them in the house and I wash them and I lay them out. And then there's a particular time after our evening meal where I take them and I take my knife and split them in half and I pass them out to my wife. And my mother and dad eat with us every afternoon. We cook for them and we pass them around and we all partake in a fig.
Oh,
mean,
yeah?
it ain't like you grabbed off a tree and eat it because I don't have that many, but we got to make a special occasion out of eat these figs. We enjoy them.
Yeah. That brown turkey tree I got there's more figs on that we can do anything with. But those other specialty ones, yeah, you cherish those. That's what me and Tachi go out there and we like to just stand out there and eat them. Or we'll pick a handful and then jump on the buggy and ride around and eat them.
Speaking of too much tomatoes, I mentioned a while ago I got too much okra. We cutting okra like crazy. And I talked a while back about having some losers in my garden, and I want to talk about this just for a minute. So this pod right here is a jambalaya, and this pod right here is a heavy hitter. Now, heavy hitter is an OP variety that we was trialing this year. We wanted to grow this out as a seed crop so we could have another open pollinated variety that we thought would fit the bill a little bit. So we trialed them against the jambalaya.
And just to be clear with that, the reason we did that, we had a lot of people on our videos and ads and stuff heard us bragging so much about the jambalaya, and they said, oh, it can't compete with this heavy hitter here. So we said, well, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and come to find out, the heavy hitter is a strain, an improved strain of the Clemson spineless. So what happened was a guy took the Clemson spineless and over time selectively picked particular pods or plants that he thought were superior to the regular strain and kept those out and developed this strain. So we tried them against one another, and I'm going to tell you, I had high hopes for it because I wanted it to work out. I thought it'd be a great product.
Great name.
It just didn't work out. Productivity, about half of what the jambalaya is. The jambalaya came in as we expected about a week or two before this heavy hitter did. It's outperforming productivity at least twice as much. But one of the things I did not realize till I tried them right beside one another was how well this jambalaya has such a nice, straight, long, clean pod to it. And this heavy hitter, and also the Clemson Spinus, have a tendency to have these curved pods or these misshaped pods. The spines on the heavy hitter are a little more profound. It's a little cleaner on the jambalaya. The jambalaya is a little greener pod. No doubt the jambalaya is, I will not be growing this particular heavy hitter again. It did not impress me, and I'm going to tell you, it does not hold a light in any account to the jambalaya. And I know we talk a lot about the jambalaya. People probably get tired of hearing it. But every time I grow this against another variety, I'm just astounded about how good an okra it is.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of that with tomatoes. There's just some varieties out there that we constantly are testing, and they always kind of pull through.
It does.
That jambalaya is a kind of a production-based okra, real consistent, extremely productive.
I've not found anything. The only problem with the jambalaya, and the reason we trial it so much, is because it is expensive.
Yeah.
That's the only downside of jambalaya, is that it's an expensive seed. Not only is it expensive to you as the end user, it's expensive for us to buy, very expensive. And when we get it in, we put it in a special place because that's how expensive it is. So we always want to look and see, is it worth the extra cost? And hands down it is.
Right. If your goal is
we have to justify that, and I feel comfortable justifying the difference in the cost of them.
Right, yeah. If you're growing okra at home and just want to maximize your space, get more okra out of a smaller space, great way to do it. If you're growing okra for a market farm or whatever, you got to be growing that jambalaya. You're going to take the time to plant something, you need to plant something that's going to really produce for you. One more thing, the t-shirts. We talked about the Grow Your Own Food shirt last week. And a lot of people have been waiting on this shirt right here, so let me just show it to everybody. So we got our all right shirt with the wheel hoe on it. Hopefully everybody can see that. And everybody's been asking for bigger sizes. And so in this particular shirt, for you big boys out there, we got a 3X and a 4X.
Wow.
And when you purchase these shirts, that's how we package them there, just so you know. We roll them up in these little tubes. You got your size on them there. And these shirts are not only are they really soft, they're pretty wrinkle resistant. They don't wrinkle bad, so you can pull them straight out of this tube, throw them on, go to town.
I tell you, a lot of people have been buying our t-shirts, and I'm going to tell you what happened to me.
What happened?
I've had kind of a hair issue going on here lately.
Yeah, you got to clean up a little bit.
Well, I ain't had a haircut since January, since the COVID messed us up. I ain't been to town. Money's been a little tight. I swapped the old gal down the road a haircut for a t-shirt, for one of them Hoss t-shirts.
You did?
Sure did.
Made a trade.
Traded her a t-shirt. She wanted a t-shirt. I said, I need a haircut. She said, well, I'll see what I can do. And that's the way we did it. And I feel so much better.
I ain't sure you got your money's worth.
Oh, yeah, I got my money's worth. She had a lot of work to do there, son. It took her a while. Yeah. There was a mess, a lot of sweeping to be done when she got through.
Yeah. You feel better?
I feel a lot better. I got me a new shirt.
Yeah.
Man, I feel good.
Got your little mechanic shirt there?
Yeah. Hoss. And what I did on this side is I picked out me 5 names out of the seed room, because we got a boxcar Willie tomato.
That's right.
So I picked out me some names on this side of particular varieties of seed.
I like that.
I do too.
I like that.
Yeah.
You look official.
I do.
You look official. A few more things before we get into our tomato taste test. Don't forget about the testimonial request. You want to send us a testimonial video we can use that we're compiling together some of these. We'll put the link below, the Dropbox share link. You can check that out and share your little testimonial video. Just take it with the iPhone. And the other thing is the recipe book we're working on. We'll continuously be taking submissions for that. If you got any good recipes of things you like to make straight from the garden, send those to us. You can send an email to custserve.com, or you can snail mail it to us. Okay, the moment everybody has been awaiting for. So, a couple things before we do this. So I trialed, all these are from my garden. Okay, I trialed more than these 8 varieties, but these are all kind of, you know, your big sandwich tomato types. I didn't include the Tachi, which is aroma type. I didn't include the cherry types. We just wanted to focus on this kind of style of tomato, so to say, bigger sandwich tomato. I'll talk once we get done taste testing them. I'll kind of rank them as far as productivity, plant vigor, and also which fruits are bigger. I have these labeled here, so we're going to blindfold the old man here. No tricks to this time.
I'm always dreading this.
We're going to blindfold him, and we'll let him try each one of these. And so you out there will know which one he's trying. I'll hold this up to the camera. So I've got these coded by 2 letters here. So we got BY, which stands for Brickyard. We got RS, which stands for Red Snapper. We've got CO, which stands for Chef's Choice Orange.
Are you ready for me to do it?
You can go ahead. I'm gonna keep telling them which varieties we got. We got the HD, which stands for Homestead. We got this one ain't labeled because it's pretty, it stands out. We got this one, which is the Black Creme. The BR, which is the Bella Rosa. We got this CB, which is Celebration. And over here on the end, we've got SP, which stands for Summer Pick. So all these came from my garden. I had them separated, laid out on the table. We let them all ripen up, and this morning I picked about the best 2 as far as ripeness, prime ripeness that I could find from all those varieties. You good?
I'm good.
How many fingers am I holding up?
3.
Okay. All right, so in no particular order here, here's your, stick your hand out, let me give you 4. And I want you to score these 0 through 5. You can use decimals if you like.
0 through 5, man.
Yeah, you can use decimals if you like.
5 being the best?
5 being the best. And just keep in mind, if you taste a really good one, you know, if you give something a 5 early, then you can't really, you know, you can't go over a 5. So just, you know, keep that in mind as you try these. So I'm gonna shuffle these around a little bit, and we're gonna start off with this one right here. Let me show everybody which one that is. Y'all can see the code there. Okay, so let me see your hand. All right, go for that one. Give us a little detail there. And I'm going to keep score over here. And I'll show everybody what the inside of them looks like. That's a pretty tomato right there.
That is just what you would think about a good normal homegrown tomato. Not a lot of acid to it, but good fresh bite into it. Just a good straight run, good beefsteak style tomato. I'm gonna give that one a 3.8.
3.8. Okay. Okay, let's scoot that one out of the way. And let's go right here. Let's see your hand. There you go. And this is this one right here, folks.
I'm having trouble finding my mouth.
I'll show you what the inside of that one looks like.
A little bit more tart flavor than the
first one.
First one. If I had to guess, that's a yellow tomato right there. If I had to guess, and I'm having to guess. Nice tomato, not acidy as much as I would have expected. I'm gonna go with a 4.1, and I'm being gracious with that. A 4.1.
So you like that better than the first one?
Yeah, just a tad better because it's got a little more tang to it.
Okay.
Tang.
Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Okay. Let's go with this guy here. Let me show everybody which one this is here. And then put your fork down right there. Oh, you didn't get it. Hold on. There you go. I'll show everybody the inside of that one there. That's pretty, ain't it? Okay, what you think about that one?
That's a softer, seems like a little softer texture tomato. Not a lot of difference in the flavor profile than the other two. Pretty much the same. Nice, soft. I'm on 3.9. It's in the same range with the rest of them.
They're all pretty good, ain't
Yeah,
they?
they're all pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
It's like horses. I've never seen an ugly horse. They all pretty to me.
Yeah. Okay. Now here we got.
Oh,
Wait before you stab my finger.
getting a little up carried away.
This
here.
one right here. All right. Let me see your hand. I'll show everybody what the inside of that one looks like.
A tad bit more pop to that. A little bit more. A little more
pow pow.
A little more pow pow. Yep, that's a nice tomato there. I say that's a 4.4.
4.4. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's go with this one right here. Show everybody which one this is. And let me get you. Show everybody the inside of that one. All these are just beautiful, beautiful tomatoes.
That's a good bit firmer texture there on that particular one. .9.
3.9.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little firmer, but I can't tell a whole lot of difference in the flavor of it.
Okay. We got 3 more to go. Let's go right here. Well, this one, everybody knows what. Hopefully y'all can see that. Okay.
And we got a 4.8 right here. My guess would be that's an heirloom.
Okay.
Yeah, real crunchy, but yet it has plenty of moisture in it. That's a good one there. Good flavor profile on that.
Okay.
I've been interested to see what that one is.
Okay. Now this one, I'll show everybody what that one is there. Okay, let's go in. Let's get right here. Oh, hold on. There you go. Show everybody the inside of that one there.
Now that one has a more profound difference of a flavor there when you first bite into it. I might have another one of those.
Okay. Another one because it's good, another one because you got to ponder on it in a minute.
I wanted to ponder on that one. I wanted to make sure I was correct, but yeah, when you first bite into that, you have a different burst of flavors there than I've experienced before on these others. So that's a little different there. It's great, but it's just a little different. Being that it is different, I'm going to rate it in a 4.6.
4.6, wow, okay. Okay, we got one more to go here. I think you're going to be kind of surprised by the results of this.
I probably will be.
Show everybody what that one is. Okay, let me see your fork. Show everybody the inside of that one.
That's nice. Nothing overpowering there. That's a good 3.9.
3.9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can take your blindfold off now. All right, let's look at our results here, and I'll let you look at these as well. And you might want to further snack on the ones you really like. So, number one, taste-wise, would be the black creme. That's the one that won out. That's the one you wondered what it was. That you gave that one a 4.8.
Yep.
The second best one that you liked the best, the one you could kind of had a unique kind of initial taste to it, was this red snapper here.
Wow.
That big boy right there.
That does surprise me.
Look at that. That's a big old tomato, y'all. So the red snapper was your second favorite at 4.6. Your third favorite was this summer pick right here. that one there. What's interesting about that tomato is there ain't a whole lot of a bull in that one there. That's
A lot of meat.
a lot of meat in that tomato right there. After that, you got a lot of 3.9s. You like 3.9 on the orange, 3.9 on the Celebration, which is this one right here. You had a 3.9 on the Bella Rosa, 3.8 on the Brickyard, a 4.1 on the Homestead there. So they were all pretty daggum close there.
The red snapper for variety, the way I scored it, really surprises me.
Why?
Well, I've never eaten the red snapper, and we heard rave reviews about it. We knew it was a good tomato plant, but I didn't realize the fruit was going to be as good as it is, because everybody tells us the plant's real vigorous and real resistant to disease and stuff. So we was really excited about that, but to find out also that it tastes well is an added blessing.
Yeah. So none of them were awful.
No.
It's good to mention here the only ones that's Homestead is not considered a hybrid. It's the only OP here. Excuse me, a Homestead and the Black Crim. But just goes to show you folks, we talk about this all the time. These modern day hybrid tomatoes, the flavor is there.
Oh yeah. Now, they don't compare to a good heirloom. Now, last year when we did taste tests, we couldn't tell a lot of difference. But I'm going to tell you, this Black Crim to me, and I've eaten several of these right here, these things are just wonderful. However, it's not a tomato you want to depend on. It's one of those you want to go 3 or 4 in your garden, and you just, it's just an
Sandwich tomato.
Added surprise if you get a good harvest off of it, but they're too finicky to grow. You don't want to count on these being the main part of your harvest. You just want to grow a few of these just to see if you can. Some years you will, some years you won't. But you can depend on these other varieties, and you can use those as your staple tomato, and then have these for when they do make. You got a little something extra there.
Right, a lot of these others here, and I can tell you because I got them all growing, will outproduce this one at least by 5 to 1,
yeah,
if not greater. So we know that one tastes good. All the rest of them were pretty close. I would say the Red Snapper and the Summer Pick stood out for you, and those are 2 new varieties we had this year. Let's talk about some other characteristics of these guys. So first we'll start off with size, and we can see a good bit of a size difference here if we bunch them all together. The biggest one by far is the Red Snapper there. Like I've said, just massive tomatoes. And it's not just mine. Go look at Jason at Coghill's Instagram. He's got some pictures of some big ones. I would say right there below that, as far as size, it's a close race between the Brickyard and this Chef's Choice Orange here. It's hard to tell size on these because they can be so wonky looking and crazy.
Wonky tonky.
Yeah. And then the Summer Pick probably comes in pretty close to that as size. So I would say Red Snapper, Brickyard, Chef's Choice Orange, and then Summer Pick as far as the biggest tomatoes. Now the most productive, this is interesting, and I got a video coming out, or I think it's already aired, showing my tomato patch, showing you the different rows and talking about which varieties I like best. And I do want to change something I said in that video. I said that the Brickyard was more productive than the Summer Pick in that video, and I made a mistake. Upon picking them further, Summer Pick is a little more productive than this Brickyard is. So most productive goes to the Bella Rosa. Every year it outproduces all the others. And the plants don't always look as good as some of the other ones, but for whatever reason, it's kind of like the tortoise, you know. It's going to chug along there, and next thing you know, it's going to win the race.
Well, look, 2 years in a row, I have trialed the Bella Rosa beside of the Brickyard. Both years, the Brickyard plant outgrew the Bella Rosa, but I don't know productivity-wise if it outperformed the Bella Rosa. The Bella Rosa is just a standby. Now, the plant is not going to be quite as big. It's not going to be quite as pretty, but you can count on it as a good tomato plant. I mean, good tomato harvest.
Yeah, as far as productivity goes, Bella Rosa to me is kind of like that jambalaya okra. I haven't as far as a good tasting tomato, I haven't found anything else that can compare to it productivity wise. And the plants are fairly compact. A lot of people ask us what would be a good tomato for a container. That one would be a great one because the plants don't get very big.
My Bella Rosas were anywhere from 10 to 12 inches smaller than my Brickyard were.
Yeah, same here. And that red snapper gets even taller than the Brickyard. The Homestead Celebration, they get real big. So as far as productivity, I go Bella Rosa, I go Summer Pick, I go Brickyard, and then I go Red Snapper. Those 4 there. Now let's talk about vigorous, because we talked about how the plants looked and the vigor, the disease resistance, the ability to kind of hold on in adverse conditions, and that's really important for us down here growing tomatoes. So my number 1 most vigorous, and this is kind of surprising maybe to some folks, is this Homestead here.
And that's an OP.
This heirloom OP. Now this thing is bred in Florida, and it's supposed to, have some of those characteristics, kind of like that Cherokee tan pumpkin. But as far as the plants, just the growth of the plants, not the tomato, not the fruit set, but just the plants themselves, that Homestead, big, tall, best looking plants I've got. The second one would be the Red Snapper. And of the listed disease resistances of all these here, it probably has the most tags on its belt there.
Which would you say is number 2 behind the Red Snapper as far as being touted as the most disease resistant? The Brickyard?
Yeah. And it comes in there. Yeah. So the Red Snapper, as far as vigor, Homestead, Red Snapper, Brickyard, and then Bella Rosa. I had a few issues with the Summer Pick, and I'm not sure why. I'm going to have to try them again before I really understood what happened. Some of the plants looked absolutely awesome. I just lost a few random ones here and there. But the productivity of those and the taste is really good. So in summary, the ones that I'm definitely going to grow next year, I'm always going to grow that Bella Rosa because it's just so reliable and so dependable. That Brickyard is very reliable and dependable as well. That guy right there, that Red Snapper, is a keeper. Definitely a keeper in my book.
So I've not grown a Red Snapper yet. So next year, that's going to be the one I'm going to grow.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I know watching this, we've had a lot of people asking, because I've been talking about it in videos, when are we going to get these Red Snapper seeds back? We'll have them back before you're ready to plant tomatoes next year. Don't worry.
Yep.
There ain't no need to buy them right now anyways.
We're waiting on this year's crop. So you don't want to buy tomato seeds right now to plant for next year because you're getting an old crop.
Yeah, so just wait. This fall we'll get a fresh crop in. We'll have those pelleted, and if you did try those this year, definitely let us know how you liked them. I know we sold out of them pretty quick. These others here, I know some people are trying to grow a fall crop of tomatoes, and nothing wrong with doing that if you want to give that a shot. The Brickyard, the Bella Rosa, the Summer Pick, any of those would be great selections for the fall. So I'm glad I did that. I'm not going to grow so many varieties next year. I got a couple new ones coming next year. I'm going to want to try one called Roadster. I got one called Invincible. That's a good name for a tomato.
It is. Let's get to some questions. How about that?
All right. So if we answer your question on the show, send us an email to custserve@hosstools.com, and we'll send you a nice little prize.
All right. Question number 1 for Travis is from Donnie Hopkins. And he says, James H. really enjoyed the show. You have me interested in growing a summer crop of corn. I am in zone 7B. Can I start a crop of sweet corn this late in the year?
So one of the revelations I've kind of had this year in my garden, and usually have several per year, it could be good or bad, is that I am a believer now that if you have adequate irrigation and you have a way to get the fertilizer to them when they need it, that you can grow corn all summer long and stagger plant it all summer long. Keywords there is adequate irrigation and being able to hit it with fertilizer right when it needs it. Because if you don't, your window's going to be a lot shorter there. It's going to grow off a lot quicker. That temptress I got grew off super fast, so we should be harvesting some of that pretty soon. But I think if you got it on drip, if you got a good way to fertilize it, I think you could plant it all summer long. We'll plant a fall crop. I won't plant another crop of corn probably till late August, early September. But I think, you know, down here we could probably get 4 or 5 plantings in if we wanted to.
Yeah, and some people do that. Some of the commercial farmers do that.
Yeah. Number 2 for Greg says, this is from Shelby Connolly, and says, I love watching your videos. I have an Amish paste tomato that's been having some issues. All the leaves have curled, but still growing taller and producing fruit. Leaves are just curled. It's watered regularly and fertilized every 2 weeks. No sign of pests. Have an idea what it might be.
Leaf curl or leaf roll is one of the common problems people have growing tomatoes, and it worries them because they go out and see it all rolled up and think, man, I got some major problems. I'm counting these for some tomato sandwiches, and I'm just stressing out. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 of the most common reasons you have leaf roll, and I'll talk about these in the order of how prominent they are. The number 1 reason you may have leaf curl is what we call physiological leaf curl, and that's due to some type of environmental reason, whether it be heat, insect pressure. That plant is stressed, and when that plant gets stressed, it's going to curl those leaves up, and we call that physiological, and that is the most common type of leaf roll out there. Number 2 is going to be a virus leaf roll, and viruses are transmitted primarily by insects, and you get this, there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but there is some varieties out there that are resistant to these viruses and these leaf rolls. This red snapper would be one of them. Now, she mentioned Amish paste. She's growing Amish paste. We know it's an open pollinated variety, and it don't have a lot of disease resistance to it. The red snapper does, but it's more of a beefsteak type tomato.
Well, we got a solution there.
Well, tell me what it is.
We got this Tachi tomato.
And that is a Roma type tomato.
Yeah, just like your Amish paste, same shape or whatever. I didn't bring you these to try because I didn't think it fits in the same style. And even if you don't mind me interjecting here.
Well, you go right here.
I will say this right here, production-wise, blows. I'm talking about ain't even close, blows the Amish paste out of the water.
Is it resistant to leaf curl?
I don't. It's resistant to nematodes. Wilt virus, it's resistant to a lot of things. It's not resistant to leaf curl. The only one I think we got is resistant to leaf curl is the red snapper. But if you like growing a paste tomato and you're not, you know, absolutely just gotta grow OP stuff, you don't mind growing hybrids, this Tachi will absolutely blow your mind. Just huge clusters. It's a determinate variety, so you don't have to trellis it that much, and just loaded down. So that would be my recommendation for her, is for the leaf curl or anything, any problems you're dealing with the Amish paste, is to switch over.
If it's virus related.
Switch over to this, if it's virus
So
related.
you have that virus related that is, you know, we know it's caused or transmitted primarily by vector insects, which are thrips and whiteflies and such as that. And the last one on the list that can cause leaf curl is herbicide damage. That's probably, we don't see that very often, but you can get some severe leaf curl if some of the 2,4-Ds, triclopyr, some of those herbicides drift in on you. So there you have the 3 most common reasons why you have leaf curl. The best thing to do is make sure your plant doesn't stress as much as you can. There's some things we don't have any, we can't do anything about the heat. So make sure your plant doesn't stress. Plant you one of these virus-resistant varieties, and that's the best thing you could do.
Yeah, and I would say leaf curl, a lot of people worry about it, but once you get it, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Help that plant not to be stressed. But I've seen plenty of instances where I still get really good production, even though I've seen
Yeah, don't pull the plant up and do away with it because you got a little bit of leaf curl. It is a sign that you got a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But don't stress over it. Don't go bonkers and everything. Just understand that your plant's stressed and you may need to change your attitude toward fertilizing it, watering it, or whatever a little bit. Try to help it come out of that stress. More times than not, it makes a good crop.
Yeah, my Bella Roses right now are showing a little bit of leaf curl. Understandably, what we've been dealing with, but they're still loaded up. So.
Next question is from Kelly Page. She wants to know, how do I get rid of those dang worms that bore into my squash?
She talking about pickle worms.
Pickle
worms. And they hard to completely eliminate pickle worms. But there are some things you can do to control them. You need to be spraying one of the two things that helps the worms, BT or spinosad. Spinosad's going to give you a little bit more broader range of things it covers. If you start getting pickle worms, you need to be out there picking your fruit small. If you see one, get out there, pick them, feed them to the chickens, the ones that got pickle worms in them. I've seen some video. Might have been on Row by Row group. Some old boy was purging, he's putting his pickles in some solution, purging the pickle worms out of them so he could still eat them. But and if that's what you like to do, fine. I usually just throw mine away if they got pickle worms in them. But you'll see the little holes drilled in them. Spray with it. This time of year, it's not going to hurt at all to spray twice a week. That's probably what's caused my problems. I haven't been able to spray twice a week. Spray frequently, pick your fruits off of there, get them out of there, and you just have to pick everything a little bit early. You can't eliminate them all, but you can kind of reduce the damage.
There are some things you can do to help reduce your population for next year. Good housekeeping, get that squash plant out of there. As soon as it quits producing, plant you a good cover crop. That'll help break that cycle.
And believe it or not, a good little bit of tillage here and there helps disturb that insect cycle as well. Last one here is from Justin Gross. He says, can you explain tomato blight, how to prevent it and how to treat it? Thanks, really enjoy the show.
I believe tomato blight is the single most problematic disease the homeowner has on tomatoes, hands down. Now they kind of divided up in two different categories, late blight and early blight. I particularly have more of a problem, or have had in the past, with early blight than I have late blight. Some of you may have other problems like that. Blight is a pathogen that lives into the soil. So there's some things we can do to counteract it and make it better. I don't know that you can always get rid of it. I still have it from time to time. I didn't have much of it this year, but in the past I've had a good bit of problems with early blight. One of the main things you can do is rotate. Never plant nightshades back in the same place over and over again. Keep them rotated out. When I say nightshades, I'm talking about peppers, tomatoes, and things like that. Rotate them out, plant you something else there. Keep some cover crops planted in there. Another thing is, like I said earlier, good cover crop. Break that cycle up. Keep it going. Plant you some buckwheat. Plant you some things that help cleanse that soil out a little bit. Resistant varieties.
There are a few out there.
They are a few. As we've spoke before, this one's going to probably have a pretty good disease package on the Blight, the brickyard as well. What did we say this one was again?
Red snapper.
Red snapper. RS throwed me there. Oh, red snapper, the brickyard, some of those, even the Bella Rosas, some of those have more of a disease package than the OP varieties. So that'll help you on that. Another thing is drip irrigation. We know that it's a soil pathogen that gets transferred by water splash. So by irrigating underneath that and not splashing water up from the soil up onto your plant, it's going to help a lot with transmitting that blight. And copper tox. Spray copper tox is one of the only things organically that you can get good results on with late blight and early blight. So those 5 things will help you combat that blight.
This is interesting talking about blight. My buddy Wes over at the Naked Hog did a video a week or so ago, and he was saying blight can be soil borne or could be seed borne. He was saying it could be transferred in the seed. So anyway, I won't name the name of the company, but he was throwing away some seeds from a particular seed company because he had pretty good evidence to show that their seeds grown side by side, our seeds, caused the tomatoes he got from us to suffer from some blight, because he's obviously seen other people growing our tomatoes and not had those issues. And he explains in his video how he came to that conclusion. But and I've also seen some other people having that issue. They were growing our seeds in the same row with another seed company who I won't mention, and so there's that idea out there that some of these tomato seeds that you could purchase already have blight installed in them, so to say.
That's a new one on me.
I hadn't heard that before, but Wes makes a pretty compelling case in his video there, And so go check that out on his channel.
I do know this much. If you buy your tomato seeds from anywhere but us and grow your tomatoes, they will tear your stomach up.
That is true. That is true.
I do know that.
That is confirmed.
So,
yeah.
You want to make sure you buy your tomato seeds from us and feel good about it. Your stomach's nice and happy.
None of these will upset your belly.
Right.
Lastly, I brought you a little treat right here. So a couple shows ago, it might have been in the last show, I showed you some of that quick kind of fig preserve my wife made. I brought you some, we made some normal old jelly here. Where's your fork at? I got you a biscuit there. Now that's a lot sweeter than the...
Get over here where I can work with it.
We got tomatoes everywhere, don't we? That's a little sweeter than what I had last week because it's a whole different process. But that's jarred up, water
I'm gonna tell you that
everything.
last week was off the chain for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That stuff right there is pretty hard to beat. I've bought me a whole big old bag of them frozen biscuits, and that's been a pretty regular occurrence at my house every morning.
Now it's a little sweet for me because it is a jelly.
Yeah, it's a good bit of sugar that goes into making that right there.
I like the spread better, but that's good.
Good little palate cleanser there. All right. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our tomato taste test and tomato trial comparison. And we'd love to hear from you guys out there what you thought about any of these varieties you tried there. And as always, if you've got varieties that you'd like to see us carry that either are really good tasting heirlooms or have a great disease package, always suggest that, and we'll consider adding them to our seed lineup next year. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, like this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you did enjoy this show, check out these other 2 tomato videos right here. I think you'll really like those as well. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.